and a handsome young farm boy to set off on a journey together. Today we celebrate this amazing mile marker in their lives. It's not about the destination of reaching their 50th, but the amazing journey they're having together. I'd like to share with you tonight my thoughts from a daughter's perspective. As I started thinking back over my childhood and growing up and thinking of the different stories I wanted to share today, the common thread that comes through is thoughts of happiness, times of laughter, and a great feeling of love. I'm so blessed to be part of this beautiful family that God put together over 50 years ago. Many of you know my dad as a kind-hearted gentleman that's a snazzy dresser. And my mother, the first thoughts I am sure that come to your mind are her beautiful smile, warm heart, and compassion for others. But what I want to share are maybe some traits of their personalities that you might not know. Dad is quite the comedian. Take the time when I was little. We had a family trip to the zoo, and he thought it'd be funny to throw his chewing gum up and over into the orangutan enclosure. Wouldn't you know they came right over and began to tug and pull at it and turn it into a big stringy goo? Well, it began to draw a huge crowd, and my dad and my sister just stood right in the front, laughing hysterically, while my mom and I started to panic and shrank back away from the crowd. Mom, she had a dental practice. Of course, it's only for kids with wiggling teeth. I've had many loose teeth, and of course I had to show Mom. Well, she gets her sights on a wiggly tooth, and she gets this overwhelming desire to pull it. And if you even let her touch it, she gets her nail up under that root and zip it out comes in fun. My father, he's also an excellent caregiver to cats. Mom was heading out of town and asked my dad to make sure to take care of Sheba. Sure thing, honey, he says. Well, one evening, as Dad was going up to bed, he sees Sheba resting peacefully in the living room. He comes down the next morning. Aw, she's still sleeping. Then he thought about it. Wasn't that the same place she was there last night and maybe yesterday afternoon? Come to check on her. Yep, you guessed it. She had been sleeping for a couple days. My mom, she also practiced as a hairdresser. As I remember it, she put aside her dream to be a beautician, to put my dad through school, but she didn't need lessons. She gave many trims to our hair, and then there were the perms. Needless to say, on the first couple rounds, she found out real quick how to reverse the perm after my sister's desire to have a little wave to her hair turned into a kinky, curly mop. My dad, he likes to take his time to make good decisions. Every car that I can remember that my dad has bought, he's taken about 2 years to make his final decision. We call it kicking tires in our house. You can believe the shock I had when my dad told me he bought a car off eBay. No chance to kick those tires. Speaking of cars, he has great teaching skills. He has taught my mother, my sister, and me all to drive. I won't name names, but one of us during these lessons has wrenched a sign up under the car that he had to shimmy under to get it set free. And this same person, when learning stick, when going down a hill, could barely stop and almost veered us into a barn. Okay, so my mom has been the most challenged to learn to drive. But my dad has great patience to teach. My mom, she has the greenest thumb of anyone I have ever met. I can take her my poor, dying, lifeless plants, and she magically nurses them back to life. While we're talking about the outdoors, my dad, he's a seasoned firefighter. Well, in his backyard, at least. There was a time in Pottstown, I don't quite remember all the details, but I do remember my dad coming to the back sliding door to rally the troops. He says, "Girls, a little help, please. A fire I started has gotten away from me." Then my mom and my sister and him are all running around the backyard with brooms trying to put out this brush fire he started. It was better he stuck to selling insurance. My mom, she's an amazing cook. All the amazing birthday dinners, holidays, whatever you name it, of course, were her guinea pigs to her new recipes. Like the time when she made lasagna with tofu in Phoenixville. She couldn't fool us. It was fun, though, watching her conquer the new grill when we lived at Brownstone. So many burnt offerings of chicken while she mastered her grilling skills. But give her a piece of meat now, and it's the best mouth-watering, yummy grilling, beats out any restaurant. Oh, and did I mention the pies? Betty Crocker, eat your heart out. My mom, she makes the most amazing cherry, pecan, apple, or pumpkin pies around. Just remembering a few of these special moments, which also include trips to Wallaby Farms for ice cream, dates with Dad at Phillies games, shopping with Mom and the dressing room adventures, all leave a warm place in my heart. Together they have taught me amazing life lessons about how to love and make the most out of the blessings God has given us. My father, who has taken on life's challenges by changing careers to be able to provide for the family in the future, who has also allowed his daughters to grow by making their own mistakes to learn from them and become strong women. He's taught us about having strong will, good business sense, and independence. My mother, with the heart of an angel, who is always putting others first, has taught us to be wonderful caregivers to our families, who has blessed us with lessons of goodness, sacrifice, and loving others unconditionally. Together, by their actions through all these years, I've watched them treat each other with loving kindness, respect, and desire for each of them to grow as individuals, but working together as a team. They complement each other with the strength and will of my father and the strong, soft heart of my mother. They're a true example of what God desires for all of us to have in our lives. They reflect what true love is by learning to grow together, keeping God in their lives, guiding them through this journey together. I feel their success in marriage is they reflect the desire for God has us in all our lives. This desire comes through 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 10. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. When I think about my parents' marriage and the true love they have for each other, it gives us strength for when tough times are in our personal lives. That true love never fails. Congratulations, Mom and Dad. I wish you many, many more beautiful years together.